In July 1929, in a last-ditch effort to salvage the reputation of the High Seas Fleet, the Germans have pulled together whatever forces they had remaining in the area and are attacking one of our battle groups. The Idaho, a New Mexico-class battleship, and the Nevada, one of the lead ship of her class of relatively old battleships, are on their way to support the next naval invasion in the Caribbean, escorted by the Astoria, the Tuscaloosa, the Brooklyn, and 3 Terror-class minesweepers. We're facing 2 German battleships, a whole set of heavy cruisers and light cruisers, as well as 2 V-class destroyers. We might be outnumbered quite significantly here, but we are not one to shy away from a fight, even if the odds are against us. We haven't even had time to organize our battle groups yet. I have the battleships in the main battle line. I've got a cruiser division led by the Astoria, which is going to be a more mobile force, and the 3 minesweepers are very slow, so I'm just running them on AI control. But we started opening up fire, so let's see if we can get our fleet positioned before things go down here. And these are the German battle cruisers, or battleships, I think. Looks like 9 guns, relatively sane forward-oriented layout. So let's see what we can do against these. We have incoming fire already, so I am turning to starboard here with the battle line to get our guns on target. And you can, what's the range? 21 kilometers. It's a bit long range. I don't think we're going to be effective at that range. But we are getting the cruisers to play a more loose formation, and their main task is going to be to deal with the absolute mess of heavy and light cruisers that the enemy is bringing. We do have to be careful because we are vastly outnumbered, and obviously the Germans have torpedoes. There are the inevitable smoke screens, and the 2 enemy battleships are the main battle line. So these 2 are the task of Nevada and Idaho to get sorted out. And once that's happened, then the heavy hitters can also help dealing with the cruisers. Given the very slow speed of the minesweepers, I am actually going to run Astoria, Tuscaloosa, and Brooklyn as the scouting force here. And we're going to go into a tight formation, whereas the battleships, yeah, that's fine. We'll see what the Terror-class minesweepers can do, but I think we might lose a couple of those. They're really here for minesweeping duty, not much more. So let's get fire on target. What have we got here? This should be the capital ships. No, actually, it's one of the cruisers. Interesting cruiser design. 8-gun design, but one sort of center. So it looks like a light cruiser. So this would be a target for the Astoria. But obviously at 15 kilometers she's not going to hit anything. And we got our first bounce, I think. Do we have torpedoes away? No, this is... what is this? This is one of the light cruisers. Interesting older design, I believe. So in that case, Astoria, start targeting that. Still outside of effective range, we are... But we managed to get a 14-inch partial penetration somewhere. So it looks like Nevada and Idaho are starting to get their guns on target. And given how heavy the grouping of the German ships here is, that was a bounce, an over-penetration. Yeah, I think they're starting to have the range here. Another over-penetration on one of the German battleships. And the cruiser division is now starting to see the lead elements of the German fleet. So we do have to keep our distance here and see if we can land a couple of hits on the screening group, which is coming for the cruisers at this point. And the Germans seem to be splitting up, so it looks like these cruisers are coming after our cruisers. And the rest is potentially going for the battleships. So we'll slug it out here, as the battle line is obviously much slower. And we'll see if we can, we'll see what the heavy cruisers can do. So far we are getting 8-inch hits here quite reliably. Just have to be obviously very careful with torpedoes. We are within secondary range, I believe, at this point. Or this might be Brooklyn. 6.8 kilometers. Yeah, make a bit more of a turn, because I am assuming there will be torpedoes in the water. And keep hammering the lead ship here. And the battleships are getting a little close now for comfort. So please keep targeting the lead ship here. Unfortunately, we've lost sight of the enemy battleships in the smoke screens that are set there. So we'll given the slow speed of Nevada and Idaho, I'm going to have them to be on an evasive course here as well. And so far we haven't really taken any major hits yet. Let's get the cruisers to turn about and go back to all ahead flank, just to throw any kind of torpedo aim off. And see if we can, because the Germans seem to have abandoned this approach here after taking some hits on these light cruisers. All of them are smoking up, so keep shadowing them and peppering them. But we do have to be careful with the yeah, because there come the torpedoes. Nevada, hard to starboard. And try to get. Actually, no. These are our torpedoes. Oh, that's the friendly destroyers. Okay. I should probably have told them not to use their torpedoes. It's fine. We should be okay. Just a danger close here from the friendly destroyers. Okay, cruisers are getting a little far away now, so let's get them to turn about and see if we can get... Yeah, the Germans have definitely changed their formation. Let's get a bit closer with the cruisers and see if we can fire for effect there, while the battle line is somewhat evasive, mostly from our own torpedoes. Idaho seems to have taken a couple of hits here. I'm not sure what she's been hit with. But yeah, she is. Idaho has been hit. She's taking on water in the front. This might have been a torpedo hit. I'm not entirely certain. But let's open up the range with the battleships and get the cruiser division to turn around and go in a bit more aggressively to take some heat off the the battle line. I'm not sure if that was yeah, that was friendly fire. So that was a terrible decision to let these guys fire torpedoes. The Idaho has been torpedoed by one of the minesweepers. She is still flooding in the bow section, and she may actually... I think she's still battle-worthy, but she is losing a lot of buoyancy in the forward section here. And they're still trying to get the flooding under control. So that was entirely avoidable, and yeah, minesweepers. Can't trust them in a battle line, should have sent them back home. Okay, I'm going to retarget the cruisers towards the lead ship here, because one of them is peeling off. Again, drop speed to 26 knots and turn to starboard to avoid any incoming torpedoes. And how is the Idaho looking? Idaho has gotten the flooding under control. However, her forward compartments are flooding. One of the minesweepers is already sinking. And it looks like the Germans are getting a little are not willing to close the range here. So let's get the battle line turned about and get the cruisers engaged. Yeah, the German formation is starting to become extremely chaotic. So we'll get the cruiser force, which currently isn't engaged, to start chasing after them. Let's get back up to flank speed and complete the turn, and see if we can manage to do a bit more damage here on the enemy light cruisers and heavy cruisers, while the battle line is gonna have to turn about as well, because the Germans suddenly are opening up. Start targeting whatever that is. That is the closest target. That is one of the enemy light cruisers. Let's see if we can get some 14-inch hits on these things. And that would be appreciated. If they're firing torpedoes out of that mess, then they're not going to be any better off than we are. Yeah, part of the German battle group has peeled off. So again, drop speed and turn to starboard to maintain your distance and not give broadside to the enemy heavy hitters. While maybe not that much, while kiting away and making sure that we get the hits in. We'll have to wear them down a little bit before we can go in more aggressively. That is the Karlsruhe, and I think she's taken a 14-inch hit. So there she goes. That should be the end. That was a 14-inch hit. She is taking on water rapidly here. Couple more 14 inches coming in. And I think that should be the end of this ship. Yep, Karlsruhe sinks. First casualty on the German side. We'll keep varying our speed here. What are we targeting? That's actually one of the battleships. It's not something I want to target. Right now, the cruisers are taking on the Gefion. So, given that we've got the battleship spotted, okay, the Thüringen is sinking. There's the Hagen. So let's get the 14-inch guns pointed at that thing. While we are having and there's the Gefion going down as well. Do we have a better target for the cruisers? Not particularly. We just have to be careful because we're sort of giving broadside here. What's the range? That's about 7 kilometers, which is effective range for these cruisers, but potentially also for torpedoes. So let's kite a little bit away, and the battle line is going to try and get shots onto the Hagen and see if we can land some hits there. There come the enemy torpedoes. We might already be too far to dodge these. Let's see. We're gonna get Astoria to turn hard to starboard and see if we can get everybody to turn about before we run into these torpedoes. Okay, one of the enemy destroyers has been sunk. Full turn, which also gives us a chance to get closer to the battleships again. And Nevada and Idaho are for now doing long range fire and duking it out with the Hagen. Okay, I think the turn has been performed well, so we'll have to get all the cruisers around, avoid the torpedoes, and cruisers can start targeting that light cruiser over there, if it is a light cruiser. Or is that a destroyer? That's a destroyer even, I think. So let's get that thing sorted, primary cruiser duty. I don't think we've managed to land any hits on the Hagen just yet. No, she is flooding from some light hits, but nothing major. And the cruisers, please take that destroyer apart over there. And yep, that's pretty good. I still don't know what it even is, but I think we might want to get in a little closer, just to make sure he doesn't get any torpedoes away. I think that screening destroyer is going to be done for relatively soon. Battle line is still a bit far off. Our distance is about 10 kilometers. I can get a little closer than that. These are only 40. Oh, these are older 14-inch guns. So, okay, destroyer's been sunk. Start taking on the Rhineland next, please. Looks like we are struggling to penetrate the belt of the Hagen, actually, with the 14-inch guns. But given that we've identified her now, she's got 15.4 main caliber, 15.4 millimeter main guns. Sorry, 15.4 inch. Can't be. Yeah, 15.4 inch main guns. Which means that in terms of this firepower, she's actually ahead, but. We are having this. I think the gunnery on our ships is better. So, okay, now she is turning away after taking on a lot of water here, and we should be starting to see. Yeah, there we go. We're starting to see some hits, some over penetrations. She has lost rudder control, and I don't think she's in a good shape. Meanwhile, the cruisers are still skirting the enemy lines here, and. Please concentrate your fire on the Stier. Speed up to flank and get around to... actually, the Stier is going after the battleships, so... and they are still focusing on the retreating Hagen here. But they might have an opportunity. Let's train the battleship guns on the Stier as well, so she gets into a crossfire. That means they have to retarget. But the Hagen is now positioned such that I don't think she's going to take a lot of damage. A couple ranging shots in, and keep turning. Cruisers are on the chase after the Stier as well. Let's see if we can focus her down. German cruisers 9.7 inch, that is relatively heavy armament, but I don't know how many guns she has. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, so 8 guns, yeah. 4 twins. See if we can land some hits on the Stier while the cruisers are circling, and the enemy formation is tight. Which means it's going to be significantly more difficult for them to maneuver. This is relatively risky on the cruisers here, because they are giving full broadside, especially the Brooklyn is only a light cruiser, and these are relatively heavily armed heavy cruisers. So, is a bit risky here, but we'll make a turn and see that we can, and there the Stier is sinking, well done. Target the Rhineland next, and we'll get the cruisers to pass by and the battleships to make a turn to port and start targeting. Where do we have the enemy the enemy heavy hitters? Enemy battleships are quite in the rear here, so target the Graf Spee, please. We seem to have one mine layer left. Next time I'm just going to have to retreat those and definitely not let them engage on their own terms here, because it's not healthy. I think the most damage they've probably done was to the poor Idaho, who still has her forward compartments flooded, but at least it's not getting any worse. I might actually drop speed to 18 knots, because Idaho cannot keep this up. And cruisers maintain 7 kilometers about-ish is a good distance. Drop down to 26 knots and maintain fire. Both the Brandenburg and the Hagen are actually relatively heavily damaged. Okay, Rhineland is down. She is listing. So I think the next task for the once we've dealt with the Graf Spee, the next task for the battle line is, oh, there are some light cruisers out here. There may be torpedoes in the water. I do have to turn the cruiser division around. Let's make an aggressive turn, hard starboard, and start targeting the light cruisers, please. While the battleships are a little more away from each other than I would like to. And the Graf Spee has lost engines and taken a couple of hits here. Brandenburg doesn't look good, neither does the Hagen. So once we've dealt with these cruisers, once we've dealt with the Graf Spee, I'm going to start targeting the battleships again with the 14-inch guns. Okay, cruisers are in a full turn. Assist with the Graf Spee for now. And go back to all ahead flank. So far, the high-risk play has been paying off with the cruisers. Okay, Graf Spee is sinking, so cruiser division, take on the Danzig, please. And battleship division, where are the enemy battleships? Target Brandenburg. That is, what's the distance to the Brandenburg? 9.5 kilometers, that should be doable. And we're definitely wearing them down here. So far the cruisers have been pretty unscathed because of the positioning confusion that the Germans have had. They haven't really used their screening forces effectively. And we've been operating mostly outside their effective torpedo range. However, that might change. So especially with these light cruisers, turn the Astoria about slightly and make sure that we keep the focus onto the Danzig, which hasn't taken a lot of hits just yet. What is that light cruiser here up to? The Elbing. Battleships are having the range now, however, on the Brandenburg. And she is burning and she is flooding quite significantly. The older sort of armored cruiser style light cruisers actually tend to be relatively resilient. That said, with the incoming fire from a full cruiser division's focus, that isn't going to last particularly long. 8-inch armor piercing should eventually wear her down, and then we can retarget. Yeah, Danzig's down, so target the Elbing now to reduce any kind of threat to the battle line. And we are, yeah, the Brandenburg is, the Brandenburg's taken on a flash fire. There go the forward turrets, magazine explosion on the Brandenburg, and I'm pretty sure that's the end of her. Which means Elbing is down, which means the battleships can now start targeting the Hagen, while the cruisers continue to... what's even left from the enemy cruiser screen? Not an awful lot, honestly. There is a destroyer out there, the V8. Let's see if we can get that one sunk, while turning in a bit more. They're really trying to focus down Idaho now. So let's get the battleships turned about a little bit. Idaho can still take it. She is burning relatively heavily, so maybe the cruisers can take some heat off her. Take down the destroyer if we can, and then we can focus on the rest of the enemy cruisers over there. So their high explosive is a threat, so... Okay, V8 is already flooding, taking damage. And I think she is about done. And the Hagen also has her magazines exploding. rear magazines on the Hagen have blown up, and I think that is going to be the end of her, which is good because that means Idaho gets a bit of a break. V8 is still afloat here, however, but I don't think for much longer. She is now flooding everywhere. I think we can let the ocean deal with that. So let's take some of the heat off, finish off the Graf Spee. I think this is the time when we can get the cruiser division to engage a bit more aggressively. Idaho has taken the majority of the fire here, but she's still in fighting shape. And yeah, Hagen is sinking due to heavy flooding from the magazine explosion. So I think it's free for all at this point. So we'll get the battle line to circle from the rear, and we get the cruiser force to go in more aggressively and finish off whatever is left from the enemy shipping. Graf Spee is about to go down. Sorry, that's the Admiral Scheer, it's not the Graf Spee. And then we'll go in and finish off the rest. V8 has flooded out, and now it's just a couple of cruisers left. So time to clean this up. Astoria has taken on a couple of fires now. Try to finish off the Niobe, please. And Idaho is still taking the majority. Actually, the Germans are circling around now. They're trying to they're trying to catch the Idaho. In that case, finish off the Niobe, but we'll turn the cruisers around to intercept the rest of the cruisers. And the battle line can focus on... okay, Niobe's down. Focus on the battle line, focus on the heavy cruisers. While the cruiser division is turning about and can finish off the Undine? Wouldn't have been Niobe, would have been Niobe, no? Something like that. Just to make sure that Idaho does not get burnt down here eventually. She is taking the brunt, given that she's the damaged ship here, taking the brunt of the heat. Okay, there is a torpedo out there, but I think, yeah, we should be safe from that. Full turn. Yeah, there are torpedoes incoming. Full turn. And oh wow, we've landed some big hits here, I think. I've just seen some big explosions there. Yeah, more torpedoes incoming now. So cruiser division turn about, all ahead flank, and these torpedoes might be trouble. So we'll need to turn into those. We are now definitely in torpedo range. So let's see that we can avoid those if possible. Astoria should be clear. And take down the light cruiser, please. These things are dangerous. Okay, Astoria is clear. And I think Tuscaloosa and Brooklyn as well. This is turning into a point-blank range brawl. This is actually not what I had in mind. But finish it off, please, the Gazelle. While the Germans are now launching torpedoes everywhere. Obviously, because we are in torpedo range. But I think we'll just, Gneisenau's down. We'll just go through it at this point. And main battle line is in good state. So torpedoes everywhere. Full reverse Astoria. Try to dodge that torpedo. She is not responding on the full reverse. Oh, Astoria is going to take a torpedo. Yep. Radar was not responding in time on the full reverse. So Astoria is in a bit of trouble here. We're gonna have to detach her and get the rest of the cruisers individually managed. All the cruisers have taken a bit of damage here, but I think we have finished off the Germans in style. And yeah, all of them have taken a bit of damage, but nothing. Tuscaloosa is still in fighting shape. Let's get her turned about. The Comet is sinking, and I don't think there's anything left, honestly. There's the Gazelle still. But the heavy fire from the battleships is also completely wrecking everything over here. So the Michelle is sinking, which means Tuscaloosa can hunt down the Gazelle. And the battleships also are now focusing on the last ship down. So we have taken a bit of damage, but it's been worth it for finishing off the last remaining German battle group. And despite the fact that our ships are somewhat dated, the Astoria has taken a lot more damage than I thought she was gonna. Okay, retreat Astoria, retreat Brooklyn after these close range hits. Not sure if Brooklyn took a torpedo, but Tuscaloosa is still in fighting shape and can finish that off. And there we have it. Some crew losses on our side, but the Germans have lost the last of their battle groups in the theater. And in terms of damage dealt, the M12 actually has done a fair amount of damage, mostly to the Idaho, which I'm really not pleased with. But Nevada has been fighting very well, despite the fact that she's actually the older ship, and has done 141,000 points of damage. That is a fair amount. Followed by the Brooklyn and Tuscaloosa, then Idaho, and lastly Astoria. After the battle with the Germans, the damaged battle group is turning north towards Bermuda to assist with the naval invasion against the British positions there. And we have a second task force here, consisting of, led by New Hampshire, then Arizona, Mississippi, New Mexico, Pennsylvania, and Truxtun, which is a North Carolina class, which is on sweeping duty to clear out enemy forces in the Caribbean. And there are several land battles ongoing. The British are trying to invade Honduras, so we may have to help out there. And they're also trying a very unsuccessful so far campaign into Venezuela. The Allen M. Sumner class of destroyers is going to be commissioned next month, so that's good. And we're still 5 months away from seeing the Baltimore class of heavy cruisers coming in. But all of that coming in the next episode. That's it for me today. Thanks everybody, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.